then we
I'm gonna
play
turn up the phone.
the waiting game.
It's so heckin' toasty.
It was oddly cool where I am today. I was not a fan.
Valid. I live in an attic room with 6 reptiles, so it gets real fucking toasty in here.
That's that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Heat already rises, and then to add on top of that, we have so many fucking heat lamps. I'm just sitting here like, please, sir, it's too much toast. Put away the toaster, it's enough.
Can we get a different comestible up in here?
Comestibles.
Comestibles. When you're distressable.
Distressable. Oh, I know how to do things. No, I don't. That's a lie.
I mean, we've been doing this for a while now. We must know something.
Oh my god. Okay, but now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure we've been doing streams together for over a year.
I think you're right.
Which is like, I like to think I've gotten better at doing this. And on the other hand, I'm still a goofy goober who does not know how to read.
The not knowing how to read never goes away. Even when you're like doing things scripted, like the only reason why you guys constantly don't hear I don't know how to read and variants of that during the edited stuff is because I edit a lot of that out. I keep in the especially funny ones, but there are a lot of comments that are like just like a quick like damn it to yourself. And those ones I axe.
Oh no, goodbye to Jade and Starcat.
Jage and
Fuck, what
Sarkat
was the one? Jade and Starcat.
are many mispronounced children.
Yeah. We just gotta make like a little, I almost said cult. Yep, cult of the fucked up kids.
The hodgepodge crew.
Hodgepodge. All right, am I starting off reading?
I believe
I don't see a whole lot of, yeah, I don't see a whole lot of green. Oh my god, is there any green? Okay, like in the middle. So yeah, I can start off reading them because it looks like you're probably just gonna be talking to yourself for a while.
Stop talking to yourself. Stop talking to yourself.
Listen, it's always silly goofy when like it turns into like, oh, one of us has been reading for a while, so the other swaps in, but then they're just talking to themselves. So it's like 20 minutes of just one person talking, and it's like, this is fine.
The big conversations that are had were not based on our split of the readership, which we did largely by gender. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, number one, at the time, I was like, I don't feel comfortable voicing female characters. And now, like, my voice is getting deeper because I'm back on T. So it'd be a little silly goofy if I voiced female characters.
And we do love to have a silly, goofy time here, but also I don't want you to do anything you're not, like, comfortable with.
True. Like, I would say I'd be totally down to voice June. I can speak English, but I love the way you voice her, so I wouldn't take her from you.
I love her too. Like, it's so interesting to try to, like, keep her at, like, the low part of my register, but, like, still just, like, super funny and delightful.
Yes, listen. We just love a butch lesbian up in this house.
She's so butch. She's so lesbian. She has so many tricks up her
She
sleeves.
is. She is, and I love her.
I love her. I love her laugh.
So do I. She's so good. As we're just like waxing poetic about characters.
That's why we fucking
If
started
Unda
this
ever
shit.
listens. Yeah, that's very true. Listen, we're here for the love of the characters and the story, and it's like, Unda, we love your children.
Yeah.
Like, do they technically belong to Hussey? Maybe, but we kept them in the divorce.
We kept them in the divorce. He was not a fit
Oh
parent.
my god, yeah. Listen, He put them through so much shit, and we're just sitting here like, we're gonna put them through more shit, but they're actually gonna have a happy ending, you fuck.
You fuck.
You fuck.
We're gonna put them through shit that, like, is consistent and makes sense and isn't done solely to piss off your readership.
Yeah. Yeah.
His
But anyway,
relationship with
you.
his fans is fascinating to me.
Yeah, it really is.
Because there's
And
parts of
I
it that,
just
like, I totally
sometimes.
understand, but there's parts of it where I'm just like, man, are you okay?
Are you good? Do you need therapy? I mean, probably. He created Homestuck.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to start then?
Yep, yep.
Otherwise, it's just us spending 2 hours talking about the various characters and like how else he could have done better.
How Husky could have done better, the things that we like about Unda's works, just become like a full, like, fan cast. Like, we're not gonna read the chapter, we're just gonna talk about what we liked in it.
We're just gonna have a good time, and you're gonna have no idea what's going on, and we have no idea what's going on. We're just doing our best.
Enjoy our in-jokes about this Dave, 22 seconds later, Dave and Roge's, like, childhoods, backing each other up with memes.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I just need them to like do like obviously they don't look alike, but they absolutely did creepy twin shit, and you can't prove me wrong. Just in unison. Want to play a game? Come play with us.
I like to imagine that
I want
June
to
would
play a
also
game.
have hopped in on that just for the shits and giggles.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I need to draw art of that now. Just and here's the thing. Dave also in the weird little dress from that movie. And they're just like, come play with us.
Hell yeah, Dave, get it.
They absolutely watch shit they shouldn't have at a super young age. But anyway, okay, moving on. Oh, I know. Chapter 12. You're finishing up your dessert as June tells you about a recent call from her dad. Or she is until she falls silent and points to the end of the table. Jade has set a few more pieces of fruit and vegetables out in front of Carcat, and you stare as he bites into a lemon that you would like. And you stare as he bites into a lemon like he would into an apple.
Oh, what are the... I don't think I like the bits.
Carcat says with his hand politely in front of his mouth.
Those are seeds. The fruit makes them. They grow new lemon trees, so you could plant it, but I have enough already and I like the crunch. Bite them.
Jade encourages him.
You can just...
Carcat says hesitantly, and Jade nods. Carcat takes another bite and then loudly crunches through a lemon pip. He seems surprised for a moment and then crunches it again and has another bite of lemon. His expression is tuned in and thoughtful the whole time, evaluating everything about what he's eating. And wow, he's actually eating. Admittedly, it's a whole lemon with the skin and everything, but it's still food.
I think I like that.
Carcat says finally, and Jade makes a delighted little noise and claps her hands quickly in delight. Her palms pressed together and her fingers doing the actual clapping. I love him so much. He's so cute and so stupid.
So cute.
I'm sorry. I forgot that he just bit into an entire lemon. You fucking gremlin. Oh, I love him.
Grandma Bim Bam hours.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. You can continue. I'm gonna stop being a fucking fanboy.
What could be worse? Okay. You might like limes then. Solix said that oranges might be bad for you, or at least orange flavored things, but other citrus could be worth a try. Probably not today though, right?
Jade guesses, and Carcat nods in agreement as he keeps eating his lemon. She's really helping him. You're so happy to see it, and you don't feel jealous or envious. Should you? If you're pale for Karkat, then shouldn't you want to be the only one helping him? Maybe, but you think that you'd rather he got help at all. You want him to feel happy, even if it's got nothing to do with you. You announce after dinner that you're going to quickly swing by the library to pick up some books on tarot, and then you're going to give Sullix his food. Karkat decides that he's going to go with you and spend time in the library to get some peace and quiet, though he says he'll come back this evening. The night sky is cool and clear, letting you look up at the stars as you walk.
I think I'm going to get a book on stars out. Check what it says with Matuna.
Karkat says gently as he looks upwards at the stars above.
I'd be very interested to hear anything that he knows about stars that we don't.
You agree. Karkat smiles. You only know that because you glance at him, something you did without thinking. This is nothing like your feelings for Kanaya, but it's certainly something. Your sexuality crisis rumbles ominously in the depths of your psyche, but you try to ignore that. Emphasis on try.
Solix told me, you know. You didn't, though.
Karkat says vaguely.
Told you...
You ask slowly.
He told me that you asked where I was. I'm guessing because you were going down to dinner and wanted to invite me or apologize like you did earlier. You trusted that I wasn't going to escape and left me in there. You didn't burst in demanding to talk to me or to apologize either.
Karkat says simply.
I didn't think that you would worry Matuna, and after how I'd acted, I didn't want to make things worse. And even if I would kick down the door in Eridan's apartment trying to rescue you, I do know that you're capable of looking after yourself. But me breaking in would have definitely caused you harm, so I didn't want to. That sounds really calculated. That's not how I meant it. This wasn't some chess play.
You stress, like you're doing an awful job of this.
You skipped the word feeling.
Oh, I'm sorry. You stress, feeling like you're doing an awful job of this.
It was thoughtful, and you didn't mention it either. You could have. Eridan did that, but I didn't. You could have done that. You didn't, though.
Karkat points out.
I care more about you than that, even if I've not done a great job showing it lately. Anyway, I'd like to say I'm not that petty.
You tell him.
You'd like to?
He asks, a grin pulling at his mouth and his eyes twinkling a little with amusement.
Consider it a life goal. One day I will be able to say that. But really, if pettiness isn't something that we're supposed to do, then why does it feel so good immediately? That's not fair. Who had that great idea?
You say in mock offense.
Intelligent design my ass.
Karkat laughs.
I think Dave and Solix agree with that.
You say back immediately, and Karkat laughs even harder.
I really am sorry.
You say after a moment.
I know.
He says gently. It makes you think of how he said that he knew, when Eridan was clearly going to accuse you of having pale feelings. Maybe Karkat already knows how you feel. But even if that is the case, you're not sure that you're prepared for that just yet. The two of you go into the library together, and even though you hadn't been actively hoping to see Kanaya, you are disappointed to not see her in the office. She can't work all of the time, after all. Instead, there's Miss Paint and her psychopomp husband that you've heard of.
I Miss Paint. I have books to return, but I can't check my own books back in. I'll leave them here. Is that okay?
Karkat checks.
Oh, I forgot about her.
What,
Yeah.
Miss Paint?
Yeah, she's just a sweet... Okay. Of course, dear. I'll be here when you want to check out.
Miss Paint smiles.
Thanks. I might just read here for a bit, unless you're going anywhere soon.
He asks.
No rush.
She reassures him, and Karkat nods. He flashes you a smile and walks off deeper into the library. You only realize that you're watching him go when you feel the weight of Miss Paint and her husband's eyes on you.
Can I help you find anything?
She asks you.
Oh, I was going to look at your tarot section.
You say hurriedly. You already know where that is, so you don't need to ask. But,
I.
You hesitate and consider this.
Do you have any books on romance? You're going to have to be more specific. Spells about love, books on psychology, sociology, anthropology. There's so much to consider.
Miss Paint says quite reasonably.
Romance in other species, I suppose. Demons, maybe?
You say as you think about it. You know that angels and demons are broadly the same when it comes to romance. At least when it comes to moirails, they are. You are the I know how to voices. You are the second person to ask about that. Man, whatever that boy's got, I want it. The psychopomp cackles.
Brain damage? That can be arranged, dear.
Miss Paint says sweetly, like drinking antifreeze is sweet. Sorry, give me a second.
They're just great.
I just love them. And this is how you know it's true love, because she threatens to kill you.
Yeah.
Miss Paint says sweetly, like drinking antifreeze is sweet and also fatal. Okay, I had a book like that, but I already gave it to Karkat. It's in demonic. I can hammer out a spell to let you read it without melting your brain. See, no one gets brain damage, he says, looking at his wife.
You do know the way to a girl's heart.
Miss Paint says teasingly. Yeah, I do. The psychopomp grins, his mouth a slasher smile with sharp teeth and eerily similar to a smile you've seen on Celix's face. Under the ribcage and up.
Oh, you.
Miss Paint giggles and slaps his arm playfully, her cheeks actually coloring a little, a faint minty hue. The psychopomp writes the spell out and offers it to you with an instruction. Stick it to your forehead and you. I can read. Stick it to your forehead when you want to use it. You hold the spell in your hand and have a look over it curiously. It seems elegant. You bet that your mother would love to see this.
Thank you. I'll ask Karkat if I can borrow that book from him.
You say gratefully, and then back away from both of them because the psychopomp's laughter is a little unnerving. What a deeply weird encounter. You can see that the back of the paper confirms his instructions as it directs you to stick the spell to your forehead, allowing you to read demonic for a short period of time. That is, however, a deeply stupid idea. You're not taking a spell from someone you barely know and applying it to your head and letting it mess with your brain. No, you're going to take this spell to your mother and have her show you how to apply it to an object so that you can read demonic. A pair of glasses would be a good choice. Now to find the books that you actually came here for. You grab several volumes on tarot readings and also a book on bags of holding. On your way back down to check out, you find Karkat, who is holding an armful of books as he looks at another shelf.
Karkat,
You whisper as you walk up to him.
can I ask you about a book? Are you trying to find one? Sure. What can I help with?
He asks in his quiet librarian voice.
Not one here. I ran into Miss Paint's husband, and he told me that he'd lent you a book in demonic. I was asking him about some information, and he suggested that.
You say softly.
Oh, I've not been able to read that one. I don't even know what it's about or where I'd got it from. There's quadrant signs on it, but that's all I know. I showed it to Matuna and he just laughed. I still have it. He wanted to take it away and show Latula, but I didn't know if it was my book to give away, so I didn't want to lose track of it. Good thing I didn't. Can you read it?
He asked curiously.
He gave me a spell. I'm going to see if I can transfer it to something that isn't, my brain.
You say, and hold the paper up to him.
Oh, that's smart. I wouldn't have thought to do that.
Carquette says as the idea dawns on him. He can't mean to say that he would have just slapped that on his face without thinking twice, surely. Oh, Carquette, how have you survived this long? You ache at the thought of all the bad ideas that he needs protecting from, and then wonder if that kind of thought is going to be in that book. Oh, you can't have done that. Oh, he did do that. And he was so dumb about it. And gay, and he was very gay about it.
He was very gay about it. He got stuck like that. He lost the ability to speak anything but demonic.
Which I love. Didn't he also leave a recording of himself so he could learn to say some key things in demonic to purposely fuck with Sullux later?
Yeah, by key things we mean flirting. He left Kismesis flirting messages so that he could memorize how they sound and say them to Solix to fluster the shit out of him at beautiful times.
Yes, specifically flirting. That's what he left recordings of himself, which I love, and I kind of wish that he would find that.
Oh yeah, did the split happen before or after? I think the split happened before that because that was at Jade's house, and Jade met her family a different way in 22 seconds later.
Yeah, you're right. Dang.
Sorry,
Also,
Carcat, you'll have to find other ways to be gay.
You have to find alternate routes.
An alternate universe. Okay, let's get back.
Yep.
If I can get this spell translated, may I borrow that book from you?
You ask instead of saying that.
Of course, if you'd let me borrow the spell afterwards.
Carcat agrees.
After we get it checked to be sure that it won't do any harm, given your species.
You say slowly.
Right. Yes. That.
Carcat grins nervously, as if he had definitely not forgotten about that part. Oh my god, Carcat, you dumb little man. Anyway, moving on. I love him so much, Your Honor.
He's so great.
You think you understand Dave and Sullux a little bit better now. You have feelings for Carcat, and you might die about it. What a fucking mood. Anyway. It's not a difficult decision to go back to your mother's home that evening and to then stay a day or so. It's the weekend anyway, and you would be lying if you said that you were tearful at the prospect of not being around Aridin. Your absence will likely also make things easier for Sullux and Matuna, and if you're here, then Sullux doesn't have to teleport back to see your mom and check on her. It does mean that you're leaving Carcat alone with Aridin and whichever captor is supervising. You're aware that the feeling is somewhat territorial. That's absolutely absurd. You are not Carcat's Moira. The you on the video claim to be, but all you can say for sure is that you are not. Do you want to be? That's another question. Regardless, you have no grounds to kick up any fuss at some boy who has a crush on Carcat being around him. He's not your boyfriend to get funny about. Ugh, boyfriend. Ugh. Besides, Carcat might be newly remade, but he isn't a child. He can make his own choices, and you're not going to interfere. Even if you would quite like to hit Aridin repeatedly with a crowbar, you won't. When you get home, you're able to get your mom to look at the spell. She's very interested in where you got such a thing and agrees that you made the obviously sensible choice to get it transferred to an item instead of slapping it on your face like a fool. Given that she speaks more demonic than any other human, she's actually a very good test to see if the spell works when it is transferred. You borrow one of I know how to read. You borrow one of Dave's many pairs of sunglasses as the item to bind the spell. And by borrow, you mean take and never return. Naturally.
Tentacle therapist began trolling carcinogeneticist. Mom has managed to get the spell onto a pair of Dave's sunglasses. I thought you'd want to know.
I do want to know that. That's really interesting. I didn't know that you had involved Dave in the project. That's exciting. I wonder what he would want to read, though. Surely Solix could translate anything he wanted.
Oh, I didn't involve him. I simply stole the glasses.
Rose, theft is a sin. I'm appalled, shocked, aghast.
Are you?
I'm a little worried that maybe the sarcasm didn't come through. I'm not any of those things. I don't care. Plus, I'm sure any kind of punishment will come from Dave whining about his glasses.
You have a point.
Fine. You weren't able to resist messaging him a little bit, but it's not about Aridin. Therefore, it doesn't count.
Well, your secret is safe with me. Mostly because I haven't really seen Dave much because Aridin doesn't like him and I don't really want them around each other.
Oh? How come?
Aridin's nice when it's just me. He doesn't act so nice around Dave. Also, I feel weird being around Dave with him there.
Is it reminding you of heaven, perhaps?
Oh, wait.
This is probably a prying question, isn't it?
Oh, shit, yeah. And yet, you noticed before I did. I'm so good at this. Not. I should go. Sorry.
Carcinogeneticist ceased trolling tentacle therapist.
That was pale, wasn't it? What's worse is you're frustrated because you would bet anything that Karkat being attracted to Dave makes him feel weird when Aridin's around, in the same way that young adults from overly religious households that regress. In the same way that young adults from overly religious households that repress that kind of thing can end up feeling awful and guilty despite doing nothing wrong. You could sign Karkat up for one of those support groups for people who got out of hardcore religious groups, except that would be pale. That would be a pale thing for you to do, and the support group itself is possibly pale on a group level too. Not to mention that the presence of an actual angel would likely cause chaos in a group like that. After your mom has confirmed the glasses work and you ask her again about the box, the belt, and the blanket, you do it in that order for a reason. Namely, so you have the glasses in hand so that when she hurriedly absconds to her lab to avoid answering your questions, you still have the glasses. You don't grow up Sorry.
You
You
didn't
don't
grow
grow
up?
up in those What was that?
No, it's the right tense. Sorry, it's just surprising.
Yeah, sometimes the brain is just like what word? Tense, hello?
Whoa.
You don't hello, it me. You don't grow up in this house without learning without learning that it's a rookie move to do something like that the other way around. Obviously, she knows something about those objects and is determined to not tell you anything, even if it's in increasingly stupid ways. It looks like you're going to have to find out the answers to this in your own way. You get a taxi to the port and write out some notes on the pouches on the belt. There are 10 pouches on this belt in total. You've already opened one of them, Karkat's one, or rather, it gave you the flash drive because you thought of him, which confirms the theory about the dream that Karkat had being an indicator. The Knight of Cups is his card, and it gave you the flash drive when reversed. So the question remains, are the tarot meanings reversed too, or is this simply a way of ensuring that you get the right items as opposed to those that would help in the right timeline? Is Carcat as God fucking reading? I'm sorry, I'm doing my best.
You're doing great.
As is Carcat as he is now an inverted Carcat? Would you have got something else the other way? It didn't when you tried before, but the you in the video mentioned about things being temporally locked. You try a few of the other pouches, trying to think of Dave, then the opposite of Dave, whatever that is. It doesn't work with Celix's card either. Perhaps you're following your metaphor too closely. The dream could have been a hint for the first pouch. It may be better to stick with the strict tarot meetings. You put the belt away as you approach the port and stick to reading your books on tarot instead. You use your boarding card and a receipt from Starbucks as 2 bookmarks and read about the various cards. There's several major arcana cards here. Perhaps you should start with those. You eye the one for the devil card and consider not starting with that one, just on the grounds of making sensible decisions. No one else knows about the video yet, so let's not immediately meddle in the literal devil's business or any cards thereof. The High Priestess is a major arcana card, and when the Carcat associated with you, upright, it has a meaning of intuition, knowledge of especially sacred things, knowing things subconsciously. You can see the obvious connection to being a seer. Reversed, it's about secrets, being disconnected from that source of intuition and withdrawing. It is rather on the nose to your current situation. When you get back to your dorm room, you will have to try opening it. There's no way that you're going to try something like that in a public place like this. You get the port home to Salem and walk back to your dorm. When you get to your dorm, there's a very strong temptation to turn right around, leave the building, and walk into traffic instead. The scene that greets you is Carcat and Aridin sitting on the sofa together, shoulder to shoulder, as a movie plays on screen. One of your blankets is thrown over their laps, and the light of the room is dim and almost intimate. Matuna is across the other side of the room at your little dining table, playing a game on his Switch with headphones over one ear and half over the other. Carcat looks around the moment that you walk in through the door and smiles warmly at you.
Hey, you're back.
That was fast. The time just flew without you, Aridin says, faux pleasant. He turns a little to look at you, but in doing so, his arm accidentally slips off of the back of the soda. The soda slips off the back of the soda. Yep. But in doing so, his arm accidentally slips off of the back of the sofa and resettles around Carcat's shoulders. The smile he gives you tells you that he knows exactly what he's doing.
Did the glasses work? I've been so curious to see if they'd work for me too, or if it'd be a species problem.
Carcat asks eagerly, but obliviously.
They worked on the demonic writing that Mother had, but you're the one with the book. I'd be more than happy to let you test it.
You say, keeping your voice as pleasant as you can manage it and trying to not play this game. This shouldn't be a game. Carcat isn't a prize. And even if he was, you don't even know it's one that you really want yet. Or at all. Ever. No matter what you feel when it comes to him and Aridin. You don't care. Just tell yourself that. It's not a game. This is Carcat.
I'd love to. Having a book I can't read is driving me crazy.
Carcat tells you eagerly, almost breathless with excitement. Hey, what about a movie? Aridin protests. Carcat glanced. God fucking damn it. Do you mind switching in?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the whole point of having the 2 of us. It makes life easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carcat glances at the TV and frowns a little bit. Oh, was he not that into it?
Can you rewind it a little? I missed that part.
Carcat asks him.
I can go back to before we were interrupted. Sure.
Aridin agrees and shoots you a look.
Or we could start from the beginning, if you want, Rose. I Well, I'm not sure you're going to appreciate the cast of this as much as I am. I've already had a debate with Dave over Trollian about this. Weirdly enough, he says we had a similar conversation when he first did the whole Justin Timberlake thing. Apparently I brought him up. Karkat points to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is frozen on the TV screen in a nice suit. You're right, that wouldn't really... You pause and look at the screen. You recognize this movie. Is this Inception?
See, she's already seen it, so I'm sure she doesn't want to watch it.
Aridin says quickly. I wouldn't have thought that you would have wanted to see it, you say after a second, glancing at Karkat. Yeah, the movie about going into people's minds and altering what they think and how they act might not be a fun watch for Karkat right now. Aridin is going on about how this is an acclaimed movie. Aridin is going on about how acclaimed this movie is and how things he's read say that it's very intelligent and worth watching. What you see is the ever so slight wince from Karkat. He doesn't like this movie that much. You were right.
I promised I'd watch a movie with Aridin, and he picked this. Besides, it's nice to look at,
Karkat says with a glance at Joseph Gordon-Levitt on screen.
But after, we can definitely read that book with your glasses. I can't wait. Well, I will, but you know.
What are you nerding about?
Mituna asks, finally taking his headphones off properly.
Rose got enchanted glasses so we can read that book in Demonic that's in my room, the one that no one will tell me about. Now we can read it,
Karkat says gleefully. Mituna bites into his lip hard as he looks at Karkat and you a few times, his shoulders shaking ever so slightly.
Oh, really? You're gonna read it together?
Mituna asks, barely fighting off laughter.
Why is that funny? You won't tell me why the book is funny either. You're the worst,
Karkat pouts.
I hate to ruin the surprise.
Mituna's laughing is finally messing with his ability to talk properly, and he's barely holding it together as is.
You're so mean. I'm gonna tell Porum,
Karkat threatens him, and Mituna breaks down into completely hysterical laughter, leaving Karkat confused and frustrated at once.
I love them.
They're so great. I think I'm going to have a shower and get changed before I test this out. You'll probably be done with your movie by then. Perhaps Mituna may have even stopped laughing, you say dryly.
Good. Go.
Aridin huffs.
Aridin,
Karkat says warningly, clearly disapproving of Aridin's obvious distaste for you. Aridin is busy stumbling over some excuse for why he wasn't actually being a dick as you walk off to your room. You did nothing wrong, and he still looks like a jerk. You drop your bag on your desk and take out the box and the belt. With that done, you head to the bathroom. Mituna is still laughing, even though the movie is playing again. And have a shower. It's nice to get clean after traveling. You always feel a little bit grimy after so long in a taxi and waiting around in the port to teleport. Once you're nice and clean, you leave the bathroom and see that the movie isn't actually as far through as you thought. Leaving them to it, you go back to your room, though you notice that Karkat does watch you go, like he'd rather be reading that book than watching this movie. Still, you have a little bit of time, and you know that Karkat and Aridin are occupied. I'm gonna think this is supposed to be an it's.
That makes sense.
Thanks. Still, you have a little bit of time, and you know that Karkat and Aridin are occupied. It's as good a time as any to test out your theory on the belt. You change into your pajamas and sit down at your desk. You were going to try your pouch first. You open the High Priestess pouch upside down and put your hand in. You think about yourself as conceptually as you can, but nothing happens. You try to think about the meaning of the card, both reversed and upright, still nothing. After a pause, you think about the version of you in the video, and then something hits your hand. Drawing your hand out, you realize that you have two things. What you had thought was something reasonably small and made of glass is in fact a thin vial with a very long white feather stuck to it. The vial is very much like the one that you would see at a doctor's office, and it is filled with red blood. A label holds the feather to the vial, and along it is written one word, Karkat, and the writing is absolutely your handwriting. You can only assume that both the feather and the blood are Karkat's. Why do you have this? The video served a purpose, but what can you do with a feather and blood? In fact, Karkat didn't like the idea of Mindfang having his blood, or of her having anyone's blood. He's also in the habit of gathering up or burning his shed feathers when he's done preening. So why do you have both? You have these for a reason. They serve a purpose. But what? There aren't any interpretations of this that you like. You could use these to track Karkat down. He does have a nasty habit of going missing or getting into situations. Blood and a feather would wait. Tugging at the feather, you find that the label comes off of the vial easily. There is another, smaller label on the inside, almost like a band-aid. The label on the inside provided a surface that wasn't sticky, and it meant that the feather was reasonably free-floating. The smaller label on the inside reads, Cankry. Why would you do that? Does that mean that one of these is from Karkat and one from Cankry? If so, why would you label them like this, and why would you set things up so it appears that they were both Karkats at the start? What are you trying to tell yourself here? You turn the feather in your fingers and try to intuit an answer here. If this other you had Karkat for a Moirail, then you can see that he would hand over a feather or some blood. You cannot see yourself getting a vial of blood from Cankry, but perhaps a feather would be possible. Obviously not in person, he'd have tried to kill you. If that was all you were trying to tell yourself, then you wouldn't label it like this. You have a vial of blood and a feather. You looked at them and saw Karkat on the label, but when you looked closer, you saw Cankry's name hidden inside. There is something to that. You're sure of it. It's unwise to leave these out in the open, and you don't know what to do with them for now, so you try to put them aside mentally as you physically put them back in the bilt. Try another pouch. Okay, death. That's a very simple card. You think of Aradia, but get nothing when you put your hand inside the death card pouch on the belt. Come on, you mutter, and look at your notebook for the reversed meanings of the death card. What is, fear of change, repeating negative patterns. At that, something weighty smacks into your palm. It hurts a little, actually. You pull it out and find yourself holding a chunk of iron that's nearly as big as your hand. It's exactly as heavy as you'd expect from that, too. The shape is very familiar, and as you stare through the hole in the middle, you realize why. It's the stupid planchette thing from the useless Ouija board. This thing is weighty, and it feels weirdly... Okay, you're not your mother. You're aware that she taught you magic and she honed your senses with her own eclectic ways of teaching and understanding the magical world around her. It unfortunately means that your vocabulary has been somewhat infected with her turns of phrase when you haven't learned the right academic terms. All that is to say that this thing feels magical as fuck. It has some sick, nasty, godly auras to it, and no mistake. Thank you, Roxy.
I fucking love Roxy so much.
She's so good. Oh, man. You respect yourself a little less for thinking that, but this is the situation that you're in. Yet again, you are confused about the message that your other self is sending you. You already have a Ouija board and the associated tools with it. Not that it did you any good last time. Wasn't it on your desk recently? You kicked it under your wardrobe out of spite, but when you kicked it out of your wardrobe out of spite when you saw it, but it was absolutely around here somewhere. You elect to put the magical as fuck Ouija thing back in the bag because it is also heavy as fuck and you're not carrying it around for no reason. It takes a bit of searching, but you do find the box for your stupid Ouija board in the gap under your wardrobe. You have to dent the box a bit to get it out, and you're not mad about it. Flicking the box open, you find the board and unfold it, but the little plastic thing is gone. Well, most likely it's still under your wardrobe because you petulantly kicked it about not working for you. Ugh. You fruitlessly rummage about under there, and though you find several lost socks, you don't find the planchette, as the box informs you it is called. You're in the middle of scrabbling around under your dresser trying to find it when Karkat walks in.
Are you hurt? Or why are you on the floor?
Karkat asks in both confusion and concern as he looks down at you. I'm looking for something. You answer him with a grunt as you try to shove your arm a little further under there.
What are you...
Karkat trails off, and you twist your neck to see him staring down at your Ouija board on the floor. There's a little thing that comes with those, a planchette. Mine never worked for me in the first place. I was always frustrated by every attempt I made to see the future, unlike you, who had some access. But now I can't find the planchette that came with it. I thought it was under my wardrobe.
You said access.
Oh.
Sorry, son. I can speak. Sorry, hon. It's success, and you said access.
Gotcha. Good catch. Thank you. I was always frustrated by every attempt I made to see the future, unlike you, who had some success. But now I can't find the planchette that came with it. I thought it was under my wardrobe, but it's not there. I can't feel it under here, either. You explain, and pull out your arm so you can sit up.
Oh, no. That's too bad that you can't use it, and also it doesn't work without that extra bit that I've not seen before.
Karkat says stiffly. You open your mouth, wanting to ask what the hell that was, but you remember your own words. You can't trust Karkat right now. He's not himself. That doesn't mean he's deceiving you. This is Karkat after all, but his thoughts and reactions aren't what they would normally be. Is this making you uncomfortable? You ask warily. Perhaps other methods of telling the future or communing with the dead might go against his angelic sensibilities.
Yes, I'm uncomfortable. We could put this away and never talk about or look at it again. That would be great,
Karkat says hurriedly. That is deeply weird, and definitely not what's actually going on here. However, you can't deny that Karkat looks incredibly uneasy, and you're not supposed to be telling him about what's in the pouches. You can't really explain why you want to have anything to do with this board without giving yourself away. Even putting that aside, Karkat is clearly not happy. It's better if you put this away for now. You and Karkat both reach for the board, but as you're already sitting on the floor, it's you who picks it up. You shove it in your bedside drawer and shut it tight. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Karkat still looks a little uneasy about this, so you decide that a change of topic is in order. How about we read that book, then? You ask brightly.
Yes, absolutely. It's all I could think about through the rest of the movie,
Karkat says, as excited as a little kid in a candy store. You move to get to your feet, and Karkat offers you a hand without even seeming to think about it. You take it, and he smoothly pulls you to your feet. It's a gesture of helpful kindness that is Karkat through and through. Surely you can trust that much about him, no matter what the you in the video said. The enchanted glasses are in your bag of holding, so you quickly retrieve them and hold them up to show Karkat.
Those look like Dave's, yet I'm completely certain that they're yours and always have been,
Karkat says, a mischievous little smile playing on his lips. I'm so glad that you agree. Lead the way, and we'll get reading. You say with a grin.
I love them. They're absolute gremlins.
Absolute gremlins. Just the biggest book nerds.
They are, and I love them so many.
So many.
Oh, goodness. Okay, break time.
Break time. Let's come back at 06.
Sounds good to me.
Sweet. See you soon, hun.
See you in a bit. Bye.
always forget that I mute myself. Every time I come back and I'm like, why won't Satan talk to me? Satan, can you hear me?
I'm here.
Yay!
I'm here. Also, I find it incredibly amusing that you, along with a few other my partners, call me Satan, and I find it so funny.
It's such a good name, you can't not. The delight I get, like, it still hits, like, my loved ones conversationally. Every time I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do a reading with Satan tomorrow, they're just like, oh, God.
Oh yeah, my partner's Satan.
My
Like,
partner Satan.
listen, it's just it even like it tickles my fancy, you know?
It's just like a wonderful little spark of joy.
Yeah. Which I think is so funny.
It's peak. It's magical. Okay. I'm trying to line up the text to not be cut off, but a little bit of the words chapter 12 will be cut off. Gang, I hope you can live with that. I hope you can find it to forgive me in your hearts.
What got cut off?
The words chapter 12.
Oh no.
I know, we'll never recover.
We shall never recover. Do you want me to start off reading? Because it looks like it's you talking to yourself a lot again.
Talking to myself. Yeah, let's start it out. And you just let me know if you get tired out.
I will. Do you want me to say chapter 12 again?
Sure.
Because I got cut off last time.
Yeah.
Chapter 12. Karkat steps out of your room and goes across to his own room. He doesn't seem to notice Aridin watching him, or the look on Aridin's face that expresses his clear displeasure that Karkat is now spending time with you instead of him. You try your best to ignore it, and you absolutely don't gloat. It's one thing to be smug about it within the privacy of your head, but you're not going to make things more unpleasant for Karkat by causing more friction with Aridin.
I really am sorry about him.
Karkat says once he shut his bedroom door behind you.
About?
You say, not wanting to assume that he meant what you're thinking.
About Aridin. I know that neither of you like each other, but he's being so... It's infuriating, and I'm sorry.
Karkat sighs.
I thought that you might not have noticed him today. I've been trying not to engage with it, but it didn't seem like you noticed it much, except for the one time you called him on it.
You admit.
For some reason, I'm pretty observant.
Karkat says, and as he does so, countless eyes open up all over his body. So they clover. That's a new word.
It's like clover and clever at the same time. It's a Vriska word.
Yeah. Yep. Countless eyes open up all over his body, so they cover near enough every inch of him. With a blink, they're gone again, but you're reminded that they're still there, even if his form doesn't happen to show them right now. Karkat's shoulders slump a little, and he walks away from you to his collection of books.
I'm kind of hoping that if I don't react and reward it or something, then he might stop it. It's not as if I think ignoring it will make it go away, but if I don't feed into it, then he might try, actually.
Karkat gestures a little God fucking... I am going to put my little hands around the neck of the entirety of the English language.
That's a phenomenal task. Good luck.
I can do it. I believe in myself.
Yeah, just grab a dictionary. How hard can it be? That's every word, right?
Yes, I'll just choke the life out of a dictionary. That's how it works.
Yeah, just don't let Karkat know you're being mean to books.
Oh god, yeah, no. That's how I get smote.
Yep.
Smited.
I like smote.
Smitten. Nope, that's a different word. Smote. That's a fun word.
Yeah.
Karkat gestures a little helplessly and picks up the demonic book.
It's pretty classical behavioral training. Ignore bad behavior and praise the good. I'm trying to not let him get a rise out of me either, so perhaps between the two of us we can make some progress.
You nod.
I did notice that too. Thank you for that. I know you apologized already, which I wasn't even expecting, but actually changing is something else.
Karkat smiles.
Talk is cheap, I suppose. I don't feel like I deserve praise for not being terrible to your only angel friend, even if he is awful. I really do feel guilty for making things so unpleasant.
You say. You feel worse about it now that he's thanking you for following through on your words. It's probably meant to be positive reinforcement, but Karkat's bar of
Good behavior.
being so low is a little heartbreaking. And worse still, you fell below it before.
I still appreciate it. He's really not that bad when you get to know him. It's been nice getting to hang out with him, but he can be really unpleasant when he wants to be.
Karkat says and sits on his bed.
Here, why don't you go first? Tell me what you spy with your countless number of eyes.
You tease him gently and hold the enchanted shades out to him. Karkat sticks his tongue out at you, but puts the shades on anyway. Both of you wait for a second or two just to see if anything weird happens, but it all seems to be fine.
How do you feel?
You ask him and perch on the edge of his bed.
Nothing magically unusual, but
Karkat nudges the shades up a little and looks at you.
I do feel very cool.
Well, that can't be right. You look like Dave.
You smirk, and Karkat breaks and laughs first.
Okay. Let's see what's so funny about this book.
Karkat says when the giggles pass. Karkat flips open the cover and past the first blank page. He pauses at what you assume is a table of contents. Karkat freezes and several eyes appear in the air around him. And then all at once, he chokes and throws the book to the side and lands on his hands and knees on the floor. He rips the sunglasses off and you hear him cough and then gag.
Karkat! Oh my, are you okay?
You ask urgently, rushing to the floor on your own knees and pulling the book. Why can't I read today? And pulling the book further away from him just in case the book has done something. Karkat groans weakly and slumps onto his side. Now that he's not supporting himself on his hands, he presses them over his eyes.
Karkat?
You ask again. You should go get Matuna. Karkat whines again, and that's it. Clearly something is very wrong, and you need help. You rush to the door and fling it open.
Matuna, something's wrong with Karkat!
You shout out and rush back to Karkat's side. What happened? Matuna barks out, bursting into the room.
I don't know. We were going to read the book, and I gave him the glasses that the translation spell was on, and then he threw them both away and started coughing. I think I heard him gag as if he might be sick as well.
You say as quickly as you can. Karkat, look at me. Matuna tells him, leaning over and looking at him.
My head. I think I'm gonna.
Karkat says weakly. What did you do? Aridin hisses at you from the doorway, but you ignore him. Matuna looks around and the sunglasses fly across the room to his hand. He stares at them intently for a second, and then all at once his body language changes. His head tips back and rolls a little in the same kind of despairing near full body eye roll that Sullix does sometimes. He's going to be fine. He's just an idiot, is all. Did you eat or drink anything recently, idiot? Matuna asks him flatly.
Coffee.
Karkat whimpers pathetically. You feel utterly and completely terrible for him. Cool. You may as well see that again. Here. Matuna says.
Not may as well. Just like May will.
Oh, my bad.
No worries.
Thank you, Han.
Yeah.
Cool. You may.
Sorry.
Cool. You may well see that again. Here.
Matuna says, and dumps Karkat's trash can out and puts it next to him.
What happened?
You ask as Aridin asks, what did she do? Again from behind you.
You didn't do anything, Rose. You've got glasses that translate demonic for your eyes. You have 2 eyes, and he has a bajillion. 2 of them were made to magically comprehend a language, and none of the rest were. You can see that he's got 2 eyes, and you have 2 eyes, so that seems fine. He should have realized that it'd cause a problem, but he didn't. And now he's basically giving his soul the worst case of motion sickness going. For a being that's all spinning eyeball rings, that's saying something.
Matuna says flatly.
Oh. Oh no, I'm sorry. Would the spell have been better for him? It just seemed like a really bad idea to magically mess with his mind when he's...
You start.
No, you're right. That would have been way dumber.
Matuna snorts and gets to his feet.
That would be a terrible idea, but you should have.
Aridin starts up again.
Ugh, just shut up already. No one cares.
Matuna snaps at him, and Aridin manages to look more offended than he already did, which is quite the feat.
Wanted to read.
Karkat whines miserably. Oh, the poor baby, he just wants to read.
Don't want to read.
He just wants to read.
Why do the words hurt me?
He's so dumb and I love him.
I'm so sorry, Karkat. I can read the book to you if you want.
You offer and kneel down next to him. You're not sure if touching him would make things worse, but then again, perhaps it might help.
I'll leave you to that.
Wait, I'll leave. Okay, I know I did read that correctly.
Well,
I'll leave you to that.
What?
I'll leave you to that. You only said 1, 2.
Oh, I'll leave you tutu. Tutu. Oh, I have a tutu. I can't read.
I'll leave you to that.
Matuna wheezes and flies out of the room, dragging Aridin with him and shutting the door. Cautiously, you touch Karkat's shoulder. When that doesn't produce any negative reaction, you gently rub his shoulder and a bit of his back, just like your mom used to when you were little and feeling sick.
I didn't think about it.
Karkat mumbles.
Neither did I. We can be stupid together.
You say consolingly. Karkat's eyes... I got this. I know how words work.
Yay.
Karkat opens one eye to look at you and then jolts. He scrunches his eyes shut. God fucking damn it. I was trying to get through this part because it's a lot of you reading to yourself.
Yeah, but if
God
you're having
damn
a
it.
time, I can just like switch back when I'm also having a time, as I'm sure I will.
Okay, hon. I'm sorry. I'm trying so hard.
It's okay. You're doing your best, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you can also feel free to speak up and be like, "Hey, I'm feeling a little better," because like it will be a lot of me talking to myself, so just interrupt. Okay. Karkat opens one eye to look at you and then jolts. He scrunches his eyes shut tight immediately, and you think that opening his eyes and seeing made the motion sickness so much worse. He rolls onto his front with an anguished moan, and his wings flick out of his back. They curl around him and puff up, giving him the appearance of an utterly miserable bird. Oh, you're not meant to touch his wings, so you pull your hand back and settle for gently petting his hair. Do you want me to read to distract you? You offer, and Karkat makes a miserable sound of agreement. You pull the book towards you and grab the sunglasses as well. You slip the sunglasses on and settle the book on your lap. You open it with one hand and comb your fingers soothingly through Karkat's hair with the other. You're avoiding his face, but you can feel the back of his neck, and his skin is clammy. Poor Karkat. You read the table of contents to him, and then pause. It seems like a collection of short stories, but the titles aren't especially helpful. Just a lot of demon names that I'm sure I'm mispronouncing. The glasses mean that I can read it, but I can mispronounce names in my own language, so I'm not sure if that's any measure of accuracy there. Do you want to start at the beginning, or did any of them jump out at you? Or I could run through the pages, and you could say, stop. Let fate decide. You say that last part a little jokingly, but it's as good of a method as any other.
Pick one.
Karkat mumbles into the carpet.
The carpet.
Gotta pet that car. Let it know it's doing a good job.
Yeah. Give him a little pat on the noggin.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Karkat mumbles into the carpet. Okay then. You close the book up and get all the pages together all in one hand. Yeah, okay. Okay then. You close the book up and get the pages all together in one hand. You flex them and let them flick through until you decide to stop for no reason at all. You seem to be mid-story, so you have to go back a page to get to the beginning. The pity of... see, this is what I mean. The title is The Pity of Senyos and Hulnia, but is that Hulnia or Hulnea, you say?
Pity?
Karkat repeats, entirely ignoring your quandary. You scan over the page and then pause. Karkat nudges you with a wing, seemingly wanting you to read. Sorry, I was just reading ahead to see how this ends. Not that I was going to commit to character voices or anything, but something
To
caught
see
my...
how this reads.
What?
It's to see how this reads.
Oh, what did I say?
Ends.
Oh. Yeah, I fully did read the ends. Okay. Sorry, I was just reading ahead to see how this reads. Not that I was going to commit to character voices or anything, but something caught my eye. You know how Matuna seems to think that this is very funny? You say absently as you scan a little further down. Karkat hums and his feathers fluff up a little more and then shake out as he tenses a little, likely another wave of nausea. Well, certain words tend to leap out at a person when they're skimming a text. Words such as throbbing, writhing, moaning, that sort of thing. It gives me a clue as to why this might be so amusing to everyone else. I'm reasonably sure that this book is, at least some degree of... You flick the page and raise an eyebrow. Is incredibly pornographic.
Is it good?
Karkat asks after a moment's thought.
I have priorities.
He does, and good for him.
I'm not even sure how you would determine that. I suppose you could grade it on eroticism, but I'd like to think that there's writing quality in there too. I can't stand when you read things online and you're not sure what position the characters are in relative to each other. Especially when it seems to involve them having grown extra hands because the author isn't keeping track. Then, of course, there's any kind of plot and whether the characters are likable at all. You muse.
Do you mean, like, marks for each?
Karkat asks quietly. Like a Metacritic score or something, sure. You laugh just as quietly.
I have a notebook, but I think I'll find out what throwing up is like if I get it.
Karkat says. Please, Karkat, I have my phone. Give me but one moment. I'm going to make a spreadsheet, and we can deduce the best porn in this absurd demon book. Once I take these glasses off, because I can't read anything on my phone with them on, you say, and slide them into your hair. Nice.
I love them.
They're so great.
They are.
You nail down a few categories for the nailing that will go down in this book. You leave a column for your scores and one for Karkat's. Then you decide that's not the best way to do it and reformat the whole thing.
Are you going to do character voices then?
Karkat asks, trying not to smile, but you can see it anyways. Absolutely not. Are you sitting comfortably? Then let us begin. You smile.
I feel like that was a reference.
Karkat says, but you shush him and pet his hair for a second. He seems to listen, so you begin reading. This should be a deeply odd thing to do, incredibly awkward and uncomfortable, but it's not. If Karkat was still the person he was before, then you would joke about your fake marriage. But even with things being so very different, it's still the same. You're more comfortable around Karkat than you are with basically anyone. There's no fear that he might misinterpret this, so it's just amusing.
Holnea is an idiot,
Karkat says after the first one. Very much the holder of the narrative idiot ball there, but it was at least emotionally compelling. A 6 out of 10 on that front, you muse.
5, maybe 6 for hotness,
Karkat grumbles as he tries to move a little and clearly regrets it. Nice. You read through a couple more stories in the flush section, rating as you go and asking a few questions. So is the Ripper Wasp that she's saved from a real thing in hell, or is that made up, I wonder? You ask as you debate over the technical writing skill in that story.
I don't know. It is hell,
Karkat says. He's put his wings away and he's on his back now, with one arm thrown over his eyes. I'd text Solix and ask, but I don't really want to explain why I know to ask, you admit.
He does know that... He does know that we have the book,
Karkat manages, wincing a little and resting his other hand on his stomach. Let's try a different section, you suggest, and flick to the spade-themed part of the book. These stories all seem to be centered around Gizmesitude, like Solix and Karkat's relationship. A fair amount of it seems to fall into the niches of fiction that would normally come with a lot of warnings, and even a few that warrant a dead dove, do not eat kind of tag.
It's fiction. It's dumb,
Karkat explains eventually. The competition I can see, but the violence seems very dramatic, you say thoughtfully as you finish up another short story.
It's exaggerating. It's exaggerated, just like the red stuff is. Some of it's just preference anyway. It's not Solix's thing,
Karkat says, like it's just that simple. He is a surprisingly gentle demon. He's a jerk, but he's not cruel. I get the impression that hell wasn't great for him before, so I can see that, you say, as you think over everything you know about your friend.
I think it would have bothered me before when I had more memories, but I don't think I care so much now. But it's not like...
Karkat trails off with a sigh, and his expression pinches a little, not in distaste of the subject, but more that you think he still feels sick. You get his meaning, though. This sort of thing is species-specific, and also personal preference. It's not realistic, and it's also not for everyone. You would be interested to know more, but you're also really averse to learning any actual details about Karkat and Solix's sex life. Vague theoretical things about the type of relationship in general, sure. Those two in specific detail? Absolutely not. No, I get what you mean. Even the anatomy of some of the demons and what you can do seems a little far-fetched, even for a species that can shapeshift like that. Your words trail off at the grin on Karkat's face, and you decide that you do not want to follow that line of questioning. You'll deny that the question even existed. Let's move on, you suggest.
I wish I
I
could.
love them.
They're so great.
I wish I could look at my phone without feeling worse.
Karkat says unhappily. Ordinarily, I'd offer to pass a message on for you, but given the topic, I'll bow out of that task, you tell him dryly, and Karkat grins mischievously again. You're torn between the remaining sections of the book. You are academically interested in how Ashen porn works. You have a suspicion that it might actually be the most interesting to read, and probably is a lot heavier on the plot. On the other hand, you wanted to know about pale romance, and it feels... You've been able to read all of this with Karkat, because you know that it doesn't apply and you're simply having fun, but you do have some kind of pale feelings for Karkat. It could be dangerous to read this with him, but then again, what if he's able to dispel the misconceptions that the characters have without you having to voice your own thoughts or feelings? Karkat's arm moves, and he very carefully opens an eye to look at you. You are both wary of the scrutiny and the possibility of him feeling abruptly sicker, but he seems to be able to deal with it for the moment.
Why did Spade Slick tell you to read this? Was he just being funny? I guess I asked about Black Rom and got this, since you showed me that I didn't know anything about it before,
Karkat asks. He's far more observant than he lets on sometimes, isn't he? You don't think that Karkat used to be like this so much, but he did always have a very intuitive understanding of what was going on with people. Unless, you suppose, that person happened to be Solix. A similar sort of situation, I suppose. I wanted to know more about my allegiance. I don't fully understand what is and isn't okay, and it doesn't seem fair to leave that burden on you. I also want to reconcile this foreign kind of romance with my more human feelings. I asked if there were any anthropological sources, and, well... You laugh a little flatly and look down at the book.
I doubt that it's very realistic in there,
Karkat says, and reaches up to tap his knuckle on the cover of the book. I know it's probably an absurd thing to ask, but could you explain what is unrealistic? I just feel like things would be better if I could understand, but I don't know enough to know what to ask, you say in frustration, your fingers tight on the book. The detail on the cover glows ever so slightly in the reflected light of Karkat's barely there halo. He's smiling at you, and looking up at you properly without wincing at all.
Rose, one of my core parts of my being is the need to question things. I get what you mean completely. I'm always happy to help people learn. Questions and knowledge and learning they're great.
He smiles, and your heart hurts to see it in a way that feels wonderful and unbearable all at once. Okay, you whisper. You begin to read.
Do you want me to swap in again?
Yeah.
I'm feeling better ready-wise.
Yay!
In one story, there is one demon in terrible danger, and their Moirel carves a bloody swath through hell to get them back and care for them.
There'd be consequences to that. If that was your first choice every time, then you're unstable and nuts. But if it was really dire and there was no other option, then yeah. That's pale, but it can be friendship too. If Jade's family had dragged her into winter, then we'd have all gone to get her, right?
Karkat points out.
Absolutely.
You agree. You broke into an angel's home ready to murder anyone that you found that you had murder anyone that you found that had taken Karkat from you. Sorry, sometimes words just jump at you and you're like, in what?
My brain does the same thing.
Yeah. Where it's like, I don't know in where this goes, sir. You broke into an angel's home ready to murder anyone that you found that had taken Karkat from you. It wasn't just care for a friend. You were nearly possessed with it. Hell would have no fury compared to you in that moment.
In another, it describes a sense of peace with another person, an understanding that you are known and understood by that other person. The demons touch each other's faces in the way that Karkat was clearly trying to avoid before, and you understand how difficult it must have been to say what he wanted to avoid without basically getting pornographic in his explanation.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Karkat manages. It's not the face touching that's bothering you, it's the rest. It felt like something vital had been ripped from you when Karkat didn't know you the way he did before. And this moment now is veering very close to peace and understanding. The next story is almost more of an unrequited love story, at least until the very last minute when the pining turns out to have been mutual. The demon whose point of view the story is in was willing to forsake their diamond because they thought that their beloved didn't want them, and they would rather that their pale love be happy even if it was without them. You don't have anything that you can say about that one. You don't trust yourself to say the right thing. The next story is the first one to not ping you in some sort of way, which is a relief at first. The story concerns two demons, one of which seems to cater to the other's every need. You can see that there's supposed to be an angle of adoration there, of anticipating your partner's wants before they even know it. Something about it doesn't sit right with you.
This seems weirdly controlling to me.
You conclude. Karkat says uneasily.
Some of that's unrealistic, or at least really. I don't know what the word is.
You wait, but Karkat seems to get more annoyed without actually saying anything.
Describe the word, perhaps?
You suggest.
Like, in a relationship where you don't just like something, but it's almost like you have to have it for it to work for you. The opposite of Solix's thing with violence. Something that's kind of typical for that romance, but you're weirdly into it more than normal. It's not bad, but...
Karkat flounders.
I think you may be describing a fetish or a kink there.
You guess. It's very interesting, if so, the idea that there can be pale kinks.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The problem is that it can get really creepy, or maybe that's just me. Cankry and Cronus had this huge power imbalance, and he could just dictate what Cankry would want or do. I don't know if he liked that, or if that was just because of the whole throne versus... I don't know. It's weird to me.
Karkat admits uncomfortably.
I can see it in a sense. It's nice to have someone thoughtfully anticipate what you'd like or to take care of you now and then, but...
You glance at Karkat and both of you wince at the same time. The story after that isn't much different. This one involves a very high-blooded demon. You have a slight detour about colors and demons there, and they're Moirail who is pulling them back from being, quite frankly, very unhinged.
Okay, well, this demon needs a psychiatrist. I'm assuming that aside from odd power imbalances, it's more about pulling people back from their worst impulses. Although, again, if someone micromanaged every moment of my life, I'd go utterly feral and it'd be awful for everyone. I don't like being controlled.
You say firmly.
Shockingly, neither do I.
Karkat says flatly.
And that's all the words
And
we
that's
had.
the end.
Well,
And we don't have any more words. We're not allowed to talk ever again.
oh no. Quick, tell my
Oh,
family
no. Yeah.
That's where the words cut off.
Yeah.
As evidenced by how I can't talk right now.
Yeah, this isn't you talking whatsoever.
No. Different voice, different guy. Hello.
It's a different guy, Your Honor, I promise.
I'm a different guy.
It'd be like that.
Sweet.
I think I'm gonna take a little nap.
Mood. Everyone out there, you take naps. You take food. You take care.
You go drink a bevy. You go take a little nap. Take your meds.
Yeah.
Get your guy straight.